Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our next matchup for UFC Fight Night Seattle. In this one, we have Julian Erosa taking on Lerryan Douglas. I will say right off the bat, I think this is going to be fight of the night. Julian Erosa is never in a boring fight. Quite the opposite. He's always in an entertaining fight, and he has a willing dance partner here in Lerryan Douglas, who is a knockout artist for sure and someone who's going to bring fireworks. His nickname is the Gunslinger, and I think he lives up to that nickname. It's going to be definitely an interesting test, right? You have Erosa, a seasoned, chaotic veteran with a ton of fights under his belt. We're talking about over 40 fights. And then Douglas, a rising fighter, stepping up in competition against easily the most experienced opponent he has ever faced. It's not even a question. But that said, I think this is going to be fight of the night. Both guys are absolutely fun to watch. You watch some of Lerryan Douglas's highlights on the regional scene. He has some vicious knockouts, especially since training with Cub Swanson. So I think we have the recipe for some fireworks. But with that said, let's look at our two fighters. Starting with Lerryan Douglas. He's currently 13-5 as a professional, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Overall in the Zuffa banner, he's currently 1-0. He just won on the Contender Series where he knocked out Cam Teague. I think is how you pronounce it. Basically, that Bob Roth looking guy who Kevin Vachejos absolutely destroyed. Well, Lerryan Douglas also knocked him out pretty viciously too. Before that, a lot of fights in the LFA, and a lot of them by vicious knockout too. As I said before, Lerryan Douglas is a pretty dangerous knockout artist. You look at his record of 13 wins. There we go. 7 by knockout. He has some submissions too, right? 2 submissions. But he is a knockout artist through and through. That is his main weapon of choice. And like I said, in the LFA, he actually did pretty good too. Won the belt there. And defended it, I believe. There we go. Yeah, sorry. Won the belt in the LFA and whatnot. He's a good fighter. I think he'll do some fun things in the UFC lightweight division. And, I can't say he's going to run up the ranks or anything like that, but I can definitely say Lerryan Douglas is going to be fun. He's going to be a fun fighter to watch. Now, looking at Julian Erosa, he's currently 31-12 as a professional, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Is one of those. His latest fight was a loss, 3-fight win streak, and then his most recent fight was a loss. Of those, he got knocked out pretty badly by Fernando Peldilla, but then went on a nice 3-fight win streak, submitting Ricardo Ojamos, submitted Christian Rodriguez, and then beat the corpse of Darren Elkins pretty badly. I was at UFC 314. I was there for that fight too. It was fun. It was a fun fight, but kind of sucks seeing a 40-year-old Darren Elkins get beaten up like that. Then in his most recent loss, Julian Erosa fought in a fight of the night contender against Melquizio Costa. Honestly, given the streak Melky Costa's on, no shame in the loss. And you look at some of Melky's other wins, Erosa arguably did the best against Melky in this current win streak he's on. So Julian Erosa, fun fighter. He has fought some of the who's who's, has been a gatekeeper at times, definitely a prospect killer. He has finished wins over Sean Woodson and Charles Jourdain, not to mention a flying knee knockout over Nate Landwehr. There we go. So yeah, Julian Erosa, he's been in there before. No stranger to the bright lights, and no stranger to high pace, high action fights. So for sure, this fight is gonna bang. Now, with that said, let's get down to the breakdown. Starting with Julian Erosa, he's one of the scrappiest fighters in the featherweight division. Very dangerous, very unpredictable, and always looking to create chaos. His style is built around unorthodox striking. He really likes that hands down by the waist, head movement, unorthodox strikes coming in, opportunistic submissions. Like I've seen this guy pull Gilly from jumping guard or just recovering full guard and getting the submission. That's how he submitted Christian Rodriguez, and still have a squeeze to finish these guys. I don't know how it's possible, but it seems just Julian Erosa, he's got the technique, he's got the squeeze strength, if you want to call it, the grip strength as well, and he can just find that Gilly and just constantly active. He'll throw unorthodox attacks, like I said, flying knees, attack submissions by just jumping guard, and he's always hunting for something. Especially, like I said, that guillotine is, I would say, his best weapon. That's how he's finished a few of his fights, especially of recent. The biggest thing about Erosa too is his, I like to call it survivability. Not necessarily that he has like an iron chin, like say a Tony Ferguson or anything like that. But he will get hurt, sure. Will he get dropped? Yes. But he always finds a way to survive. Always finds a way to just last long enough to recover. That's what I like to think of survivability as. Very similar to man, who was it? Because there was one fighter off the top of my head that I know, I'm sure will come back to me. But there's one problem with Julian Erosa is his defense. His striking defense is kind of bad, really bad, honestly. He gets hit clean a lot. And while it's hard to say, right? Julian Erosa, he's had moments where his durability has held up pretty nicely, like against Melky Costa. There are other times where he gets knocked out pretty badly, too. And against a power puncher like Lerryan Douglas, there's only so much relying on toughness and recovery will do for you before it just all stops working. Especially at 36, right? He's Rosa's 36. He's at that age, and while I wouldn't say he's going to grow old overnight, relying on toughness and durability at this stage, especially at featherweight, not a good idea. Now, looking at Lerryan Douglas, a bit opposite if we're talking about terms of styles. Cleaner striker with much better knockout power, in my opinion. As I said, since training with Cub Swanson, Douglas's power and boxing have clearly improved. More composed, more technical, and better at putting combinations together. But the biggest threat he brings is still the fight-ending power. He is the kind of fighter that I've seen end a fight with one clean shot. And against someone like Erosa, who is very hittable, that is a major factor. Excuse me. I was going to say, the fighter I remember, like Yuri Prohaska, like not only does Yuri have such a great chin, but he has good survivability because we've seen Yuri rocked and dropped before or hurt badly and still do something along the way to where he can recover while still inflicting damage. That's what I mean with survivability, though a granite chin also helps. Now, look at this stylistically. This fight is more or less chaos versus precision. Erosa is going to want a wild fight where basically throwing everything at the dartboard and seeing what sticks, right? Douglas, he can fight a wild brawl as well, but he wants cleaner exchanges. Because if this becomes messy, Julian Erosa has a chance to find something to finish this fight. He always does. That's where he thrives. But if Douglas can stay composed, pick his shots better, and take advantage of Erosa's terrible striking defense, it is bad, you guys. It's bad. The fight is going to tilt heavily in his favor. So for a final assessment, I honestly see I wouldn't call it the prospect. I would see like why people would pick Julian Erosa as an underdog. I've seen quite a few people pick him. I understand it, right? He has more experience. He's always dangerous. And given that he's fighting someone who has not fought at this level yet, and Lerryan Douglas, who can easily make a mistake if he underestimates Julian Erosa, I can see past opportunity, like him catching that submission, him finding that knockout shot. I could totally see it. But against a power striker like Douglas, who is going to find those opportunities, right? Julian Erosa is going to give him so many opportunities on the feet. I know it. That Douglas is just going to find the opportunities to turn this into, turn those opportunities into just fight-ending moments. So, for my official prediction, I'm going to go with Lerryan Douglas. I'm going to pick him via knockout. I think Julian Erosa is going to make this a chaotic fight, make it competitive, and have moments where it looks like he's going to get the dub. But just given his defensive issues, he should eventually catch up to him. And against a striker with this kind of power, it's not going to be good news. So, once again, I'm going to pick Lerryan Douglas in this one. I'm going to pick him via knockout. But with that being said, that's been my breakdown of this matchup. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win. Until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I thank you all for listening. And remember, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see you all next time.